At 78 years old, Annie Martell Denver has stepped out of the shadows to finally shatter decades of speculation about her life with John Denver. Few expected the once elusive muse behind Annie's song to break her silence, yet here she is, quietly seated in a softly lit cabin high in the Colorado Rockies, her silver hair pulled back, eyes bright with resolve. In her first in-depth conversation since a divorce in 1982, Annie confirms what fans have long whispered. The romance that inspired one of the world's most beloved ballads was as euphoric as it was fraught with tension, and behind John's gentle public image lay a private struggle with controlling behaviors and emotional storms. Annie explains that for years she chose solitude over spotlight. After their marriage ended, she retreated to this mountain town, cherishing privacy and shielding her children from tabloids. But time has a way of healing wounds and sharpening truths. Sitting across from the camera, she pauses, then begins to recall the day everything changed, when a simple ski outing in Aspen became the crucible for a timeless love song. It was late afternoon. The snow was perfect, the sky impossibly blue, and John and I felt lighter than air as we weaved through pines. Annie remembers, a gentle smile playing at her lips. Back at the lodge, he grabbed his guitar. I watched as he closed his eyes and played. Then, in 10 minutes flat, he had written every word of Annie's song. He said it was his way of speaking straight to my soul. I believed him wholly. That spontaneity, that purity of feeling, is exactly what made the song an instant classic. Annie still marvels at how the melody found its way to John so effortlessly, a moment of unguarded devotion preserved forever in music. Yet the serenity of that afternoon masks the undercurrents that would come to define their marriage. Annie speaks candidly about the shadows that fame cast over their relationship. As John's career skyrocketed, with sold-out arenas, Grammy nominations, and environmental activism thrust into the global spotlight, the pressures multiplied. Nights on tour were thrilling, yes, but they also carried long stretches away from home, endless travel, and bottles of wine meant to ease nerves but too often fueling tension. Annie recalls the first time she truly recognized the darker side of her husband's personality, a sudden mood swing in a hotel hallway, a curt demand that she change outfits right now, followed by regret and apology. He could be so tender, so poetic in one breath, and then abrupt and demanding in the next, she confides. I loved him fiercely, but I never knew which version of John would greet me each day. Their private world, once a refuge of shared dreams, became a battleground between adoration and anxiety. The same passion that gave rise to Annie's song also ignited storms of jealousy and control that Annie felt obliged to endure for the sake of love and family. By the late 70s, the cracks had widened into chasms. Annie speaks of empty hotel corridors where she wandered at dawn, heart aching for intimacy but resigned to solitude. She remembers the nights spent consoling her own tears rather than celebrating their next hit single. Fame didn't change who he was at the core, she insists, but it demanded so much of him, and of us, that the balance tipped beyond repair. Their divorce in 1982 was not a failure of love, she stresses, but the only path left when two people, even two people who once spoke in melodies, can no longer find harmony amid life's cacophony. Still, the end of their marriage did not mean the end of his attachment to her. In the months and years that followed, Annie discovered love letters tucked away in old suitcases and voicemails echoing with poetic longing. He told me I was still his muse, she says softly. He wanted another chance, but by then I was clearer about my needs. I needed calm. I needed safety. And I needed to protect our children from his private storms. Though she never remarried, believing no other connection could match what she'd shared with John, Annie has found peace in her solitude, tending her garden, hiking the trails they once walked together, and writing her own thoughts in journals she keeps locked away. When news of Annie's revelations broke, fans responded with empathy and newfound appreciation for John Denver's humanity. Online message boards filled with stories of love's triumphs and heartbreaks, many echoing Annie's experience of intense devotion shadowed by turmoil. Some praised her courage in speaking out. Others thanked her for deepening their understanding of a man whose songs had accompanied them through life's highs and lows. Across social media, Annie's song took on fresh resonance, not just as a serenade, but as a testament to the complexity of love, that beauty and pain often arrive hand in hand. Yet it would be a mistake to think these candid admissions tarnish John Denver's legacy. If anything, they render it more vivid. Here was a man whose voice carried the purity of mountain streams and whose lyrics celebrated the wonder of the natural world. But he was also human, capable of brilliance and kindness, yet vulnerable to the very imperfections he sang about. Annie's account reminds us that the sweetest melodies are often born from struggle, that the greatest art can arise when heartache meets hope, and that love, the most powerful force we know, can both uplift and undo us. As Annie reflects on her journey, she returns to the simple truth at the heart of her story: he was the love of my life. Truly. But sometimes love, in all its splendor, isn't enough to protect two people from the storms that fame and expectation bring. Her words linger like the final notes of a ballad, bittersweet, resonant, and impossible to forget. In the end, Annie Denver's truth paints a portrait not of tragedy, but of real love, imperfect, profound, and enduring, even when it cannot endure. By sharing her side of the story, Annie offers us not just a glimpse behind the curtain of stardom, but a mirror for our own relationships. She invites us to honor both the sublime and the flawed within ourselves and others, to seek compassion alongside passion, and to remember that every song, no matter how beautiful, carries within it the echoes of human complexity. In doing so, she has given John Denver's masterpiece, and his legacy, a richer chord, one that resonates far beyond the mountains they once called home.